everybody. David here from Team Ultra Instinct, bringing you a kind of tutorial into the Dragon Ball Super card game, pertaining mostly to Fusion World, since this will be the introduction game for a lot of new people. And I realized, as I was talking with more people in the community, there's a lot of new people coming into this game, and it would be helpful to go through each part of the card and teaching that to people and basically breaking that down. And so today I'll be going through the three different card types we currently have in Fusion World and explaining each piece of the card, just so people can understand cards without needing to reconfirm with people, or just to clarify everything, to basically get that all cleared up for everyone. So I'm going to jump right into leader cards. Leader cards are going to be the face of your decks, essentially. If you come from the One Piece card game, Fusion World will be functioning the same, to where the leader color will be determining the color of your entire deck. So in Masters, that's not the case, but in Fusion World, that is. So in this case, let's take a look at a leader card. So how do we know it's a leader card? Well, leader cards are two-sided, first of all. There's an unawakened side, or its front face, and then there's the awakened side, or its back face. So how to know if it's the leader front? On the right side of a leader card, it'll say leader, and then either front or back. In this case, on the left, we have it saying leader front, and on the right, we have leader back. And there's a nice little thing in the upper left, if you couldn't tell it was the awakened side. On the leader back, there is that little awaken up in the top left of the card. I guess it's not really little, it's pretty apparent. So that's a nice call out to see whether a leader card is awakened. And typically speaking, a leader on the awakened side will be stronger than its unawakened side. Don't know if going forward that may change, but that'll be how it typically is. In the upper right of your card, that is the power of the card. Very important for battling, obviously a core mechanic of the game, the way you fight. I'm not going to go into how each battle goes, but just looking at the upper right of the card will pretty much tell you what you need to know in terms of how much battle power your card has. So in the case of the leader front, or the unawakened side, we have a power of 15,000, and on the awakened side we have 20,000. So obviously getting stronger by 5,000 when you awaken. Then we'll go into the skills at the very end. But in the bottom left, if you are colorblind or you struggle to tell based off of just the card itself, there is a way to determine the color of the card now in the bottom left of the card. In the bottom left, and this goes across all cards here pretty much, there will be a lot of similarities, but in the bottom left, there's this little color wheel down here. And in this case, our leader card is red, and we can tell in two ways. So if you can't, or if you don't know off the top of your head of the positions of what color is what, the upper right is going to be red for the color wheel. But you could also tell by the symbol there. In this case, we have it saying R, so indicating red. The five colors, to my knowledge, we haven't been confirmed the fifth color, but in Masters, this will transition over. So it should be R for red, U for blue, then you'll have green, or G for green, and then Y for yellow, and then B for black. I don't know if black's our fifth color, but I highly assume it is. It should transition over all the same. So in this case, like I said, we can see that our leader is red, so that's easy to determine, and this will be cross-compatible with all cards, as I'll show you in a little bit. Then we have the card name, which is going to be very important going forward. The name of this card is Son Goku, and even on the Awakened side it is Son Goku, so it looks like they're kind of doing the One Piece route where they just stick to the actual character name only. So it's not going to be anything special where it'll be like SSB Son Goku Soul Striker or something like that, or Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku Returns, something. So no complicated names like that. It's only going for the actual character name at this point. So the card name and the character name pretty much got all combined in one. So you'll have cards that reference that. In this case, I don't have an example offhand, but I know there are some cards that'll reference like having a Broly leader or something of that sort. So in this case, our leader is Son Goku, so pretty apparent as to what it is. Below that, we have the traits of the card, which is very important. In the Dragon Ball Super card game, traits are very important for a lot of skills. That's typically what they build around. So in this case, our leader, if you can see here at the bottom, is a Saiyan, and then a slash will indicate a new trait to be shown. And it's also a Universe 7. So if we look at our skill over here on the right, I know we haven't dove into it, but this Universe 7 will come into play. Now we get some benefits with that Universe 7 trait showing. But before we jump into skills, we also have in the bottom right of the card, which for some people may not be as important, but it'll be good to know for when you're deck building, because you can't have more than 4 copies of a card in your deck unless specified otherwise. Or if something is limited to 1 or banned, or something of the sort. And you can only have 1 leader card, of course, for now. I don't know if that'll change in the future. But we have our card number here, and it also will tell you the set, which is part of that card number. And then the rarity of the card. So in this case, it's an L, which means leader. I do not know what the number means yet. We have not been, sorry, this like circle and a 1. This has not been relayed to us, so I cannot explain that as of right now. So hopefully this is something that we either find out later or it doesn't do anything for us. So we'll see. Diving into your skills. Skills are pretty important, and they'll be on pretty much every card in the game except for vanilla battle cards. There will never be a vanilla leader to my knowledge. I'd be very surprised if that happened. It might have like very basic leaders, but in this case you have multiple skills that I can show between this leader. We have when attacking skills, which pretty self-explanatory. It's a skill that'll happen when you attack. Like I said, not diving into the in-depth of the game, but Awaken is a core mechanic of leader cards. So pretty much all leaders will have this Awaken skill on it, which will allow you, that's how you get over to your other side. So in this case, you can use it as an activate main, activate battle. And you can only do it during your combo steps if you're doing during battle or during your main phase. But basically, it'll be an indication of, like, if your life is at 4 or less, you can draw a card and then flip them over, and then bam, that's how you get to your leader back. And another skill that we have here is a permanent skill here, and I just want to point this out because it does reference a trait here, like I said. So what the leader does is during your turn, it'll boost all your battle cards with the Universe 7 trait, and they get 5k power for your turn, which is really nice. So that's where this trait here at the bottom comes in handy, and that'll be on battle cards. Actually, it's on extra cards in this game, which I find interesting, and it'll be on your leaders. So to jump over to the other type of card, we have, and I'll show 2 examples for battle cards. So we have a 5-drop battle card here. So I'll run through each part of this. I don't need to explain your power because your power will always be in the upper right like I explained. But here's the next type. It is battle, and you can see that as indicated on the right side here. And the core part about this card is now we're diving into having battle, into energy costs. So here it is a 5-cost card. And what these 2 pips here are, they are 2 blue pips in the upper left, which means when you are playing this card, if you are going to play it, at minimum, you have to pay 2 blue energy as a part of that 5. So it's not saying you have to pay 7 in total. It's just saying you have to pay 5 energy, but as a part of that 5 energy, you have to be paying blue as a part of it. So it has to be, at minimum, 2 blue energy are being tapped. The rest could be any other color. Obviously, if you're playing a mono blue deck, you're really not going to have to worry about that. But once we start diving into multicolor decks, that's where this is really going to matter. And if there's any sort of cost reduction, these can't be bypassed as of right now. So something can't become a 0-drop unless specified otherwise. Typically, a card at bare minimum, if it's getting a generic cost reduction and not getting rid of the specified cost, you'll still have to, at bare minimum, pay 2 blue. So keep in mind that these pips do matter. They do. Going on to the left side of the card, which is something new as well, we have this power over here. And what that may be, and I'll flip between the 2 just so you guys can see the difference here. What this means is when you're in a battle, there's something called the combo step. And this indicates how much combo power a card has. So in this regard, it has none. It doesn't boost any of your combos when you're doing that, so you're really not going to get a bigger attack off this guy. So unfortunately, he's really kind of a dud in hand if you want to use him in a combo. At most, he'll fill up your drop area if you need it for whatever reason. But It's good to use as a way to either charge if it's a dead card in your hand to generate blue energy, because battle cards can be put in your energy area as well. There is no generic resource system. Basically, your battle cards and extra cards are going to be your energy going through the game. We'll dive into that in a different video, but going from the combo power here to jump into the next card I have as an example is we have another Vegeta, which is a 2-drop red card. But if you notice over here, it has 10,000 instead of 0. So that means when you're using this in a combo, it will actually boost the power during that battle. So at the end of the battle is when you throw all of your combo power together and basically add that onto your battle card. It won't be technically added to your battle card, but it'll be boosted for the battle. It helps power up your attack, but it doesn't really boost the core battle card's power. But this is good to know because when you're going to be comboing cards, you know, you'll have different combo powers. You'll have 0, you'll have 5, you'll have 10. Sometimes you'll have 20, but that's with the addition of a skill. There could be many different combos that come in. But just looking at the numbers is pretty self-explanatory. It's learning the actual combo step that will really explain this a bit more. So jumping back to this battle card here, we have our typical skill area here, which will be the same pretty much across all cards. So I'm not going to dive into what it does, but I will point out here that it has 2 skills we haven't seen. Double Strike, which is dealing 2 damage when it deals damage instead of 1. And then it has an on-play skill. So just 2 new skills to throw into the mix, but notice that these boxes here will pretty much always indicate skills. Sometimes a card may have nothing in there at all, which means it doesn't have any skills, but it can still at least damage you for 1 based on its power. We also see blue popping in for the first time in the bottom left, and then we have a trait here, which is Saiyan, and the card name is Vegeta. We have our number and our rarity here, so this is an SR rather than a leader. There are multiple different types of battle card rarities. I don't know how extensive they're going to go into it in this game, but the generic ones to throw it out there for you is common, uncommon, or it would be C, UC, R, SR, L, and then PR. PR stands for promo. And past that, I don't know of any others coming out. But that'll be your battle cards. Like I said, to know if it's a battle card or not, it'll be indicated right here and typically have a cost in the upper left and have a power. Now to flip over here, I have an example of an extra card. I don't really like the border of the extra cards. I don't like the white border. I kind of like the darker borders, but in this case here, we have the extra on the side rather than battle. The card does not have a battle power, and past that, pretty much everything about it is the same. We have our cost here along with its specified cost. So this is a 1-drop extra card, and it has that red pip there, which means at bare minimum you have to be paying 1 red. You can't overpay for a card, just keep that in mind. But in this case, this is saying pretty much just tap a red energy and you can play this card. Then we have an activate battle skill here, which is the first time this is appearing for us, which can either be used during your offensive combos or your defensive combo step. We have a card name once again, Kamehameha, and then we have our trait, which I said is the first time we're seeing this in a Dragon Ball card game. In the previous card game, those didn't exist, but in this card game, they do have traits. Well, unless there was a skill giving it to it, I guess. We have a card color down here. It's still red, which means if you were to charge this card from your hand, it will generate a red energy. If there's a multicolor card, you know, a card that has maybe red and blue, it would generate one or the other, not both. So do keep that in mind. Card number and card rarity. And that is honestly the basics of all the cards. We don't have anything else coming into the game. In Masters, we do have multiple different types of cards. Like, in addition to this, there are 3 more types. But in this game, we don't have such case. So we'll be sticking to the 3 kind of cards right now. There may be field cards later on, which are still extra cards, but function. Well, there are field cards. I forgot about that. They function a little bit differently. They actually maintain their placement on the field rather than just being used and placed in the drop area. but it's still an extra card at the end of the day. So our core card types are going to be those extra cards, leader cards, and battle cards. And that's really all there are to the cards. It's pretty simple. I wanted to take the time to really explain it in depth. And if there are any more questions, like any uncertainties with these types of cards and where those may be coming from, feel free to ask them, and I'll try my best to help. Or reach out to your community or discords or whatever. And everyone, this community is great. They're really willing to help each other. So I recommend doing that. And like I said, I'll respond in the comments if there are any questions there, and I'll help out there. So I hope this was a good breakdown on all the different card types for you guys. And my next video is I'm planning on going through some of the gameplay and doing the basics of that and helping people out there. And hopefully it'll be a nice, helpful tutorial for everyone and getting that learned. So I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope this was helpful, and you guys have a great rest of your day.